The other day I was wondering how I could take better care of the books that I've been sitting around in my place for quite a few years and containing 30 years worth of, 30 CDs containing 180 years worth of National Geographic Magazine starting in 1888 and going to 1996. So a total of 180 years worth of National Geographics. I analyzed the situation a bit and I tried to install the software onto a Windows 7 machine, a Windows 10 machine, but since we're dealing here with a 16-bit version going back to Windows 95 or prior to that, back in late 90s, I came to the conclusion that the best way to try it would be to use a virtual machine. So I took all the National Geographics, let me show you here, and I digitized the CDs into a folder, so 30 CDs worth of ISO files. And if we look, for instance, at a file here, 1970 to 1973, which we'll do in a minute, I can explain how National Geographic stored the information. So I'm starting up the virtual machine, an XP machine, where I installed the software, National Geographic software. When the program starts up, it comes up with a small film or several films, which we're not going to watch through all together, but we just click them away. And we have to then sign in with a name. And for this video, I want to look at an article about Luxembourg. In those 108 years, National Geographic has published 3 articles on Luxembourg, and I want to use this one dating back to July 1970 called Luxembourg the Quiet Fortress. Now, the software then prompts me to introduce or to insert the National Geographic CD or ISO 1970 to 1973, which I do here. So optical drives, I choose a disk image. And since we deal with 1970 to 1973, here we go. This one, open. And we should then jump right away to the article. Now, we can watch this in a different size by saying zoom, and then we can enlarge this so that we can practically use the whole screen. Now, for this demonstration, it's enough if we just see part of the article. And how does National Geographic then store the information? With the example of this article called Luxembourg the Quiet Fortress, we'll take this as a reference, A Lady in the Vineyards, and we're dealing with page 69. So if we look then at the information, 1970 to 73, if we open this file or that CD or ISO file, we always come across a folder called images. Now, knowing that July is the 7th month, we go down here to the 7th file. Knowing that it's page 69, we look for the file 69, and we already see that rather than dealing with PDFs, we're dealing with image files, with JPEGs. So let's open up this picture, and here we see the lady in the vineyards. And you'll notice that every article or every page is stored as a separate image, covering that way 108 years worth of National Geographic magazines. So the articles as such are not indexed, but only the titles are indexed. And it's very difficult to find your way through the CDs or ISO. I would say it's near impossible because the software loads over 100 megabytes worth of index files pertaining to the titles and the articles or brief description of the articles in those various National Geographic magazines. And that's already the end of the recording.